Hi everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. It will be a short one. We only have like 2 minutes, so you won't see any slide. Well, you only see slides, not videos or demonstration. I usually do this session about 1 hour, but I can't right now. So let's jump in. So who am I? I'm Dan Belmonte. You can see here. Sorry. Uh, I usually work as a solutions engineer at entity, but I came with VBrownBag, as you are now in the booth. Also, I'm a really fan of advocate of the big community. So I'm a B expert. I work here in the Big Mac with the Big Mac in Barcelona, also in the Madrid one. I'm a B member, as said. There was a B breakfast on yesterday, really nice at 7. Also the B soccer match we had on Monday, really nice. And also I organized the B fit runs. Have a material handle on my blog. You can check it. So let's jump into the session. So why clones? See, there are a lot of references about the matrix, I know. I see that, well, you will see that the common trends are containers, and we have Project Pacific, blah, 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 the Kubernetes. But my opinion, when I'm with a customer, I saw that they are running 33 applications, and they don't want to take effort to modernize or refactor those applications because they are, for example, quite old. So by running clones, for example, link clones or instant clones, you can find like sort of not the best solution, but maybe something that could work. And you will see that with PowerCLI and running some scripts, you could do something like could work for a customer. And I really did it in the past, and it works well. So what do we need? We need PowerCLI for sure, vCenter, as we're going to go to run the commands against. Customization specification, it's just, the vCenter, you can customize the operating system and so. And we're going to use for sure, that's the main point of this session, linked and instant clones. That are features that are used in VMware Horizon View, but we're just running in vSphere. You don't need anything else. And as a minimum, is a vSphere 6.7. So PowerCLI, you for sure know it. PowerShell interface. You need a vCenter, and we're going to use. Usually, you should run these commands to run instant clones through the API. We're going to use a PowerCLI module for William Lamb. I really appreciate that he did that. So first of all, we need to run snapshots. I know that you're aware of what they are, pretty used to. Save the status of the VM in a particular point in time. Just that can be performed no matter which the status of the VM, and that's all you need to know. So the first one, you can see Engine Smith here. A full clone, the regular clone you do when you deploy template, you're used to. The same data that you clone with the parent VM to the destination clone, same data. No required. It requires the amount of time depending on the disk, but just that. I mean, it's the usual one that you do, but it takes a lot of time to copy of this data. So moving on, if we go do with a link clone with kernel rips here, the main point of link clones are that they are not like full clones. You only can use it with PowerCLI right now, or with Horizon View you have it, but we're running just with vSphere projects. So you just have to have a master VM, and then with a PowerCLI script, deploy these clones as fast as you can. You have some storage savings, you will see, and you have this dependency. This is a benefit and a constraint that if you run a clone from 20 clones from a master VM, you will have this dependency. So how it works? Basically, link clone is just a clone that is running from a snapshot. You can see here that we need to use a VM as a master, for example, SQL1. I have some details over here about the script. Doesn't show up very well, but no, it doesn't matter. Just we make a snapshot of the master VM. We run a command that says new VM, blah, 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 just referencing that snapshot. And after that, we have a link clone. The good thing about it is you don't have to copy all the data from the disk because it will be saved. It will make another delta disk for that clean clone. So for example, you have 500 gigabytes of a disk, and you want to clone SQL Server, for example. It will take, for example, like 1 minute, and the disk will appear like 500 gigabytes, but the use space will be nothing. That's the main point about link clones. Use cases that I really used, desktop deployment. I did some experiments with that. Not the best option, obviously. There are better products for that. But the other use cases, I think for the DB or the file server are the best ones. I mean, we had a lot of development. I work with a lot of customers that had a lot of the DB admins, for sure. They want, hey, I want to test this in QA or in dev. Could you please replicate this server with the same instances? I'm talking about this SQL server, sorry. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And instead of doing a clone that could take hours, and depending on the storage or so, just take a couple of minutes, and they are like, okay, that's a great solution. So really work really well. Also for testing, we use it, for example, we had like I tested with an application. Some developers wanted to use it to run some crazy experiments. So just copy VM, do as many link clones as you want, and they're ready to go. The only thing is the link clones requires to reboot the VM once you've made it. So you can have it as fast as we will see in the instant clones that are really the benefit of having the link instant clones, that are the best ones. So instant clones, that's the best one, I think, and now you will see. It has the same benefits as link clones, but with memory savings. Memory savings, we're going to explain that. You're going to do exactly the same. We're going to make a snapshot of your master VM that it's running, for example, I don't know, for example, let's say an Nginx application. It could be whatever. It's running a snapshot, run the PowerCLI script right now. There is no any other way to do it. And you will have instant clones in seconds. Yes, seconds, I know that's crazy, but you can have, for example, my test did like 20 VMs in just 1 minute. It was 3 seconds per VM. Really nice. And you use, for example, 20 VMs, it won't, all the VMs will be almost the same as it was a VDI environment. All the page files will be the same. All the page tables will be the same. So instead of occupying, I don't know, 20 gigabytes of RAM, you will have, for example, 4 or 5 gigabytes of RAM. Really nice. The huge thing as link clones I didn't explain before is that it has a huge dependency with the master VM. So if you're running a lot of the VMs there, apart from the performance, you will have a lot of memory things if you are using the master VM. So instant clones, we need 2 things for deploying this. We need a deployment script that will be run on the vCenter or against the vCenter, and another script that will be run inside the guest OS. And that the main thing is you, for example, have an Nginx an Apache application, for example. You create a 20 instant clones, but then they are all the same. So what you want, the thing is, you run for example, your bash script or your bash script and change the IP address, the MAC address, for example, some configuration for Apache in the case. And then you have, for example, 20 different Apache website applications in just, a couple of minutes. Quite easy. To deploy, as I said, it will be just with these 2 scripts. We will see in a moment that we will need this PowerCLI module from Wilhelm right now. And just that, and I give the credit for that. The thing is, you don't need a reboot. In this case, with instant clones, you can do it as the VM is running right now. For example, it's running even in a DB server, for example, in MySQL, for example. You may only have to create the snapshot in the moment. It will be stand for maybe a second, obviously, because you're running a snapshot there. And after that, you will have as many instant clones as you want in just a second. And many depends on maybe in your guest OS script. How many time it will take to customize the instant clones. So there are like 2 methods to do this, the instant clones. There are no freeze method. That would be, I think, is the best one, because the other one will be the parent VM will be frozen. So you have as I said, for example, instead of MySQL, you have where you want an application in a VM, a lightweight VM, for example, and you create a snapshot, and every time you create an instant clone, it will do another this chain as you see there in the parent VM. Main thing here, you have a limit of 255. I know it's a lot, but well, in other deployments, depending on the size of what are you going to do, it could say you will need more. Also, it's worse because you have those kind of things like if you have something like any problem with the chain, it could mess up. Just that. I would recommend this one, but there is the other one that is the freeze one that it's the parent VM will be stunned, will be frozen, you won't have access. And you just run the same. During the script, the snapshots there, and you will have the instant clones ready, but the parent VM you will be frozen and you will have to reboot it for sure. It's recommended to run a snapshot before running the script, but well, whatever you like. So main cases, I see that because instant clones are already in VMware Horizon View, but I use it a lot with journal testing. I mean, running in a couple of moments, quite easy to do it. I'm fast provisioning. I had a customer that needed, hey, I need to try 20 websites. And I go, okay, let's try it. And in a couple of minutes, I got 20 Apaches available. So, right, quite easy. So, as a summary, as we need to finish, link clones as a testing, easy to implement and manage, and it's a bit slower than instant clones. What you have storage savings for sure, because you're running the storage is the dependency. And for instant clones, you can use it for VDI, even you have a Horizon View, that will be better. But we're only using vSphere, so it's free. You only have to take the thing from the PowerCLI script. And for general testing, I would recommend it. I mean, it worked really well. It's hard to maintain the thing because you're using the same memory and the same storage for the parent and all these things that you have. But well, it works really well. And with that, we're done. I mean, we have much time. Thank you, and see you.